Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome to Christmas. Now, it's not the first time I've said it this year, to be honest, and this is far from the first Christmas beer I've reviewed, but, well, if you look around, Christmas has arrived in full in the Crummy Beard studio. I even got the very nutty Rudolph the Reindeer jumper on, so, That all must mean it's time for a few more Christmas beers at the very least, and we're kicking off the proper Christmas season with this. This is a 6.6% winter ale or Heiver ale from the Belgian legends that are Leffe or Leffe. I've never had this one before. I've had an awful lot of the Leffe/Leffe range, but yeah, never this one. So I'm very excited to see what they do with it. Before we break into this one then, here is a quick look at the bottle. It's true classic Leffe style, just with a few nice gold touches for the winter theme, along with obviously a complete red label rather than the usual colourway. Load of info on the back, as this is a big brand beer. We'll get into a bit of all of that later on, but yeah, a good looking thing, I think I have to say. And for once I do have appropriate glassware, freshly washed, as you can probably tell. In the glass then, it is quite a lively beer. It's coming across very dark on camera, but if I hold this up to the light, it's a proper brown ale with just a hint of red to it, a hint of berry red. It's got a proper kind of 2.5 to 3 finger, just off-white, big foamy head on it. But it looks, well, it looks like a true Belgian ale, and it looks very appealing indeed. Right then, let's get to the aromas. It smells Leffe-like, I have to say. It's got a deep, rich and sweet aroma that you would associate with, well, a lot of Belgian styles, but the Leffe brand in particular. It's got a bit of that sweet berry bubblegummy nature to it. It does smell a bit like synthetic-y kind of sweet shop banana foam sweets as a result of that very typical Belgian yeast. It's got a bit of a peppery, almost rye kind of spice to it as well, but it doesn't strike me as overly different from the regular stuff, certainly from the brown ale anyway. I guess we're just going to have to taste it to find out. So, let's get into it. Cheers. Merry Christmas. Ooh, okay. It is a bit different. It's definitely a bit different. It's still classic Leffe, but it's got just a little bit of spice added to it. I mean, I did say the aroma was a bit peppery, a bit spiced, a bit almost like rye whiskey spice. It's got, yeah, a bit of low-key heat. I wouldn't identify it particularly as cinnamon or overly festive spices, but there's definitely, yeah, there's definitely something there that just prickles away just a little bit. It's got a few sweet berry flavours, maybe even a bit of a citrus zest thing going on, but this reminds me very much of Leffe Brown, but it's got a bit more pizzazz, a bit more freshness about it. Right then, I have let this sit for an extra 5 minutes now, so I think we are pretty much as good to go as we're going to get. So, top to bottom taste test time. Initially, mild but quite spritzy carbonation on the front of the tongue. It's quite soft. Body's not fantastic, if we're honest. It is quite a thin, sloshy beer, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter too much because the flavour carries regardless. And that second phase, just a little bit of traditional beer bitterness. It's not especially flavourful at that point, to be honest. It's just, it sets up the backbone of, well, this is proper old school Belgian beer. And then in the midsection, you start to get a bit more light spritziness for the beer. A bit of that orangey aroma comes in. And then in the middle of the palate, you start to get a bit more spritziness, a bit of that kind of citrus peel, orange thing comes about. It's light, it's subtle, it's maybe a touch sherbety, but it's not really overly intensive. And on the swallow, you get a bit of that spice kick. And then as it settles down, aftertaste comes in, and it's much more, well, traditional beer, but on the sweet side. And I guess probably the argument for that caramel note on the front of the bottle is at that point. It's semi-bitter caramel malts. It's not super sweet, sickly, rich confectionery caramel. There's just a tip of the hat almost. Just going back to it again there, a few light berry notes. It's quite sweet, but not overly. It's an easy drinker. To be honest, I think most people on Christmas Day will probably dig that quite a bit. It's not exceptional. As far as Leffe goes, it's pretty average, if I'm honest. But it's not offensive. It's not expensive. It's just fine. It would have been better, though, if they brought a song out with it called Leffe Christmas. I don't know, Leffe Christmas. Leffe Christmas, I gave you my heart, and the very next day you gave me a slightly watery beer. But it could definitely be worse. Worth picking up if you see it. Don't go out of your way to find it. It's perfectly fine beer, which I know is a little bit maybe of an anticlimax for a review, but I don't hate it. I don't love it. They definitely can do better, and many others have definitely done worse. And that is all I can really say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already subscribed, if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.